Okay. So sorry, who have a question? Padma, you have question, right?
Yeah, aren't these the reading response questions?
Yes.
Are we supposed to answer them here in online meeting?
Yes. That's why we here. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Every one of you pick up one question, respond, and I want to hear every one of you. And if you keep silent, sorry, you don't have that 5 points. Okay. It's just encouragement. Whether you respond correctly or not, I would not care much. But important is the participation. You share your views, your knowledge, whichever way, according to the question. All right. So let's go back to number 1. Describe the Buddha activities, the Buddha daily activities. Who like to do this first? This number 1. No. Okay. Basically.
Can I?
Yes. Who like to do?
Can I?
Anyone?
Yeah, I want to do number 1. Can you guys hear me?
Please spell your name because for this meeting, please your name.
Oh, my name is Jimmy.
Okay, go ahead, Jimmy.
So I found some information about the Buddha's daily activities in one of your information handouts.
Yes.
And basically, after he became the Buddha, he pretty much spent every day teaching and selfless service to helping well, pretty much spreading his teachings.
Okay.
And from the afternoon and before, he would he would be at the monastery and he would teach anyone who would come. And then in the evening hours, he reserved this time to teach the monastics. And in the nighttime, he slept for only 1 hour.
So that means he would not rest much, right?
No, he didn't rest much.
8 hours, right?
Yeah, not like us.
Yeah, for him, he would not. Actually, he didn't sleep. He just lie down to rest for 1 hour. That is the awakened person. And actually, for the Zen master, again, they didn't need to sleep because they always awake. You know why we need to sleep and rest? Because we use our brain, we use up the energy physically and mentally. That's why we need to rest to recoup the energy. But for them, they don't have much thinking. So most of them, they are in the resting mood and in the awakening mood. And that's why for them, they don't sleep at all. Okay? Yeah. Anyone else respond to number 1? Okay, let's move on. So please remember, this is your time, okay? Your time to speak up, okay? So let's share.
Can I add on to number 1?
Yeah, please go ahead. Your name, please.
Kathleen.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I read somewhere that his days were divided into 5 parts. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it says that basically they were called like the forenoon and the afternoon and the first watch, the middle watch, and the last watch. So I think he divided the days into that to do his duties.
Okay. And you see that, right? So during the day, he teach his monastics disciple, that means monks and non-disciple. And then in the evening, he teach lay disciple. And midnight, he teach the gods as celestial beings, the one who come down to seek for teaching from him. Okay, so that's he's so busy with his schedule. And of course, after lunch, I mean that during the day, early morning and in the morning, he would go out to beg for food, and whoever provide him offer him the food. After that, he would give the teachings too, and of course, depend upon the situation and depend upon the needs of his disciple. So sometimes he would go out to teach them too. Okay. So anyone want to respond to number one? Okay, good. Let's move on. Number two. Who like to do number two? Describe the Buddha miracles. Who like to do number two?
I can do it.
Yeah, please.
Um,
Please tell your
I,
name.
my name is Fatima.
Yeah, please.
I don't know all of his miracles, but I read that he were able to walk on water and like go through walls.
Yeah.
I think through meditation, he was also able to perform like telepathic miracles as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, and he could be invisible.
Okay.
Can I add something to that too?
Yeah, your name, please.
Nyi.
Yeah, please.
Wasn't he able to like see his like past lives and like rebirth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And
you can do.
correct me if I'm wrong. This is Austin, but couldn't he see the lives of other people
Yes.
too, their past lives?
Yeah, he could, with his wisdom, he could see the past life of everyone, even in the insect, and any animals, any sentient beings. With his wisdom and concentration, he could see the past life of all sentient beings, the present life, and the future life too. Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes.
When reading this, I was thinking, what was the reaction of the people of his time, like when he was performing these miracles? How did people react?
Of course, people love miracle everywhere at any time, right? And
Oh, was it normal?
actually, it's not normal. This is only for the holy people, the one who have sacred power to perform this kind of miracles. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because the people in the past, their mind were much pure than us because they didn't have this kind of luxuries, right? Televisions, all kind of destruction, social media and so forth. It's much easier for them to concentrate their mind, to have this kind of skill. And actually, every one of us has that skill too. For example, if we calm down our mind enough, if we concentrate our mind enough, we would remember certain things in the past. Of course, not in the past life, but at least yesterday, the day before yesterday, and so forth. Or if we could remember, if we have the pure mind or concentrated mind, we would remember what we have done, and even something that happened when we were young. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but just like throughout the history, people usually either condemned or like praised this kind of miracles. That's why I wanted to ask.
I understand. Yeah, so depend upon each individual view. So most of the Buddhists, they love to see that type of miracles, but for the non-Buddhists, the one who didn't believe in Buddhism, they would not care much. Right? It is common sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone want to ask more?
I wanted to ask something.
Your
My
name,
name's Michelle.
Your name, please.
So I read somewhere that Buddha actually didn't, he didn't like to show off his powers too much because he thought that if they became too reliant on it, it would become an attachment. Is that true?
Yeah. Here's a trick. He performs the miracle or sacred power, and one of his great disciple, Moggallana, he has that kind of sacred power skill too. But the Buddha prohibit his disciple to display or to perform sacred powers. You know why? Why he prohibit his disciple to do so? Why? You know why?
Because he was afraid to become like a detachment, right?
Not attachment. The importance in Buddhism is to study and practice so that you can transform your mental afflictions, not to have the psychic power. Having psychic power is like the byproduct of your pure mind, of your concentrated mind, not the goal. The goal is to transform the sufferings physically and mentally. So that's why he would refer his student to stay with the path of liberation. Liberation that's meant to be free from mental afflictions, like stress, anxiety, and so forth. Not to, yeah, like you say, not to attach to the psychic power or miracles. Otherwise, it would be stay away from the main path of liberated or can control or transform emotions. This is okay. Anyone else for this question? All right. Okay. What's your name? Is that Michelle Lee, right? Make sure when you talk, please spell your name so that I can record.
Yes, it's Michelle Lee.
Yeah, because
Thank
in the
you.
past, I have to review every segment of discussion so that I can mark your points. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyone else for number 2? Okay, let's move on. Number 3 then. I'm sorry. Number 3. Describes the life and religious activities of the prominent monastic disciple of the Buddha. Who would like to do number 3? You can pick any of his disciples and talk about them. Any one of you? No? All right, so remember when you came to my monastery and we talked about a Buddha disciple that used like a pound to help his mother, the one who was hungry ghost. Remember that? That's why we start that tradition, the Blambama or the Parent Appreciation Day. So he used his psychic power after his enlightenment, after he attained the arahantship. So he used his psychic power to go down to visit his past mother, the one who was the hungry ghost now. So she was so hungry, and so he gave her the food, but she could not consume. That's why he went back to seek the Buddha guidance, and the Buddha said that he would need to offer the food to the Holy Sangha and request them to pray for his mother. And yes, he did. And after their prayer, she was liberated from the Holy Ghost realm into the heaven. So that's one of the one has the second. Okay. Anyone else? Let's move on. Number 3. Question number 3. Number 4. Describe the life of the prominent lay supporters of the Buddha. Any one of you? Number 4. Okay, so please remember, try to participate, okay? So you get the points, 5 points. Otherwise, you keep silent, you would not get that, okay? So one of his lay disciple, he's so sincere and devout that he laid out the goal to buy a gardens for the Buddha and his monastic member to practice. So he, of course, many great disciples, many great supporters of the Buddhas, but one guy, he devout his entire life to support the Buddha and the Sangha materially. And one day he went to seek for the place for the Buddha to practice and live. So he saw a garden of a prince. He approached to that prince and said that I want to buy this garden so that can offer this garden to build the monastery. So the prince said, well, if you want, I can sell it. But if you lie down the round of this garden. And yeah, so this man, he went back to his house and brought all the goals to lie down, to go on the surface, on the ground of that garden. And so actually after that, the prince said, "Wow, I just got it." So, but this man say, "Well, you are the prince. You know that you were the prince." I'm sorry, out of respect, please keep silent. Please mute your um, microphone so that it won't affect to other people. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let me see some of student here. Okay. So what happened then? So this man, after he lied out all the gold on the ground of that garden, and so the prince said, "Well, I just kidding. I didn't mean to sell this garden to you." But this man, he say, "Well, soon later you be a king. Whichever you say, you keep up with that that promise. Otherwise, no one trusts you anymore." So of course, later on, he agreed to sell his garden, and actually because of this layman's sincerity, so the prince say, "Okay, you donate this land, I mean this garden to the Buddha, and I will donate the trees to him." So that's why, as in some sutra, is talk about the garden of this layman and the trees of the prince. Offer this offerings, this garden to the Buddha. So that's one of the red lay disciples. Okay, so let's move on. That's number 5. Yeah, describe the prominent royal supporters of the Buddha. Anyone of you? Anyone of you? Please don't be quiet. All right. All right. So this was a king before the prince became Buddha. So after he left his palace, so he went to the other neighbor kingdoms. So he met this king, and the king asked him to stay back because he knew the prince from his neighbor kingdom. So the king said, "If you stay back, I offer you half of the kingdom." But of course, the prince said, "No, I want to search for the truth. I would not take your offer." But the king say, "Well, if that's the case, please come back to teach me after your enlightenment." So yes, after the Buddha attained enlightenment, he went back to teach this king, Bimbisara, and he's one of the Buddha great supporters. He is one of the king that built up the Buddhist monastery, the first Buddhist monastery there. Okay. All right, so let's move on. Please don't keep silent. Okay, let's move on. Number 6. Describe the main opponents of the Buddha. I'd like to do this.
Philip?
Would like to do this?
Me? Philip?
Oh, go ahead, Phillips.
Back to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I start now or?
Yeah, you start now.
Okay. I think the main opponent of Buddha wasn't it when he was trying to ascend? It was Mara when he tried to tempt him with all of the women and the violence as he was trying to ascend.
Yes.
And so, like, does worldly desires count as opponent? Because he was trying to fight that as he ascended.
Maybe better if please, out respect from other people, if you not, yeah, yes, please. If you audio for out respect of the group, please. Otherwise, it's noisy.
When that shit, when Vancel first got revealed, everyone was like, "Alex is so broken. You should really play this." And I was like,
Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm in the loud spot. No. Let me try to.
Okay, go ahead, Phillips. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Phillips. You want to say more, Phillips?
No, I think it's because Philip in the library, so it's louder.
Yeah. Spell your name, please, Evan.
Oh, Evan. No, I think it's because Philip is in the library, and if he unmutes himself, it's gonna be too loud.
Okay, thank you.
Can I add to it?
Yes, please, your name.
Kayla. So
Yeah.
one of the main opponents was Mara, and he was the deity of the cycle of rebirth and death. And so while the Buddha was meditating, he would send his armies to distract him and take him out of his calm. But the Buddha would withstand his attacks. And then he even sent his daughters to try to seduce him. In the end, the Buddha won because he asked the earth goddess to bear witness to his good deeds, and then the earthquake shake. So then Mara's elephant bowed down to him in respect.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Right here.
Yeah, your name, please. Your name.
My name is Isaac Leathers.
Yeah, please.
There's a lot of information on this, but I saw one story. I was wondering if this is true. That one of the big kings, he had a son who was a devout follower of Buddha, but became either jealous or angry at the Buddha's, like you said, the powers. So he sent people to kill the Buddha, but the people he sent to kill the Buddha actually became followers of Buddha.
Okay. You know that king names?
It starts with a D. I can't pronounce it.
No, he's not the king. It's David.
Oh, he was the son of the king.
Yeah, he's the Buddha disciple. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone? Thank you. Anyone else want to add more?
Yeah, well, more of a clarifying question.
Yeah, please, your name.
I'm Austin.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
The episode where he's confronting Mara under the Bodhi tree, or I guess the reverse, is that where the pose with the Buddha in like half lotus, I think, touching the ground? Is that where that pose comes from? Where he's calling on the earth? Is it related?
Is that your question?
Yeah, that was the question.
Can you repeat again? Sorry, I get lost.
Oh, got it. Yeah, so when the Buddha calls on the earth to witness his merit against Mara, and he touches the ground in front of him while he's sitting, is that where the famous pose comes from, with the Buddha with his hand going down over his...
That's a mudra.
Okay, that's where it comes from.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please spell your name.
Evan.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, I think the Devata, he was believed to split the Sangha by pursuing the 500 Buddhists who admired him and followed him.
Okay. What's about him? Do you want to spend in detail?
No, that's pretty much all I
know. Anyone else? Anyone else want to respond to this question?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your name, please?
Sabrina DeGeorge.
Your name, please?
Sabrina DeGeorge.
Go ahead, please.
So I would argue that the enemy of the Buddha was actually like rebirth itself, right? Because it was saying in the text that like that was kind of the goal, was to break the cycle of rebirth, and so eventually like he was able to, or
yes,
what, or
that's in the view of I mean that in physical views, but the actual person, the actual people that were considered as the Buddha opponents. That's what my question is about.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Anyone else want to respond?
I have a question.
Yeah, please. Your name?
Sadie Greenwood.
Yes, please.
Wasn't there somebody that was related to Buddha, and then he turned a bunch of his followers against him?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Devadatta.
Was that one of? Yeah, that was one of his enemies.
You read anyone? You read any story, please?
I can't really remember. I just knew that he was related to him, and he turned like 500 followers or something against him.
Yeah, he tried to pull away the Buddha disciple. And okay, anyway, anyone to share?
Oh, can I add on to that?
Yeah, please. Your name?
Lance Win.
Okay, go ahead.
I thought Devadatta,
Okay.
like he wanted to be like a famous person,
Okay.
but Buddha didn't want him to, and like Buddha didn't want to give him the leadership, so he tried to kill Buddha.
How?
With a boulder, I think.
Yeah. Okay. How?
I'd like to add to that. It's Isaac Leathers again.
Yeah, please.
It seems like there's just a bunch of stories of Devadatta trying to kill the Buddha, like many of them. With the boulder, by giving an elephant alcohol, and then by sending other people to kill him.
Yeah.
With paid them. They're just. I mean, I don't know how they all started, but there seem to be a ton of stories.
Can you tell one story?
One story I read, there was a big elephant, and Devadatta gave the elephant alcohol and set it after the Buddha.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know.
The story that he pushed up the boulder.
That one I don't know of.
You know about the story that he had some assassinator try to kill the Buddha. You know that story?
I think at some point there was.
Your name?
Jackie.
Yeah,
Jackie.
Yeah, please.
I think at some point someone tried to shoot arrows at Buddha, and then the arrows actually turned into flowers. I don't know if that's a true story. I read it.
That Mara before he attained enlightenment. Yeah, Mara shoot the arrow, but the arrow become the flower.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. Anyway, so again, let me summarize. There's two main opponents of the Buddha. The first one, the Mara, the one who tests or try to disturb or obstruct the Buddha right before his enlightenment. So he sent armies, demon to shoot Buddha by using the arrows, and Mara sent his daughters to tame the Buddhas and so forth. But later on, the Buddha touched the ground and say that the earth confirmed that he attained enlightenment, right? And that's that first opponent, that's Mara, spiritually. And for the actual person, Devadatta is one of the causes. So Devadatta, the Buddha to become a monk too, but later on he devised the Sangha and tried to show the Buddha disciple. And after he failed that task, so he tried to kill the Buddha by hiding some people. All of them follow Buddha. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on. I don't.
Yeah, me neither. Well, it's coming today, but like.
Yeah. Number 7. Describes the first Buddhist nun in the monastic order. Who would like to do this? The first.
I'll do it.
Yeah, the name, please.
Jackie.
Yeah, please.
So the first nun to ordain was actually Buddha's stepmother, or his maternal aunt, who took care of him after his mom died giving birth to him. So she ordained after King Suddhodana died. And I think at first Buddha was against having women.
You know why? Why at first Buddha rejected 3 times, and he waited until his disciple Ananda did request, so he accepted. You know why?
I forgot.
No. Okay. Anything more you like to tell?
Nothing
Okay.
more.
Anyone else like to ask for this question?
Yeah, I'll add to it.
Yeah, please.
My name's Austin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Austin. I think if I remember from the reading that Buddha changed his mind after Ananda came and tried to argue on his stepmom's behalf. So like he pointed out that women can attain nirvana too, and so then it would be good if they could actually participate in the Sangha.
Okay. Anyone else?
I would like to add.
Yeah, please, your name.
Amanda Lee.
Yeah, please.
Because I know because I know myself and also from read that all Buddhists are supposed to remain celibate, especially the men. And at the time before the first nun was ordained, there were only men in the order. He thought it was unwise to add a woman into a community of a bunch of celibate men, and it would be a bad idea, essentially, which is why he was reluctant to allow women in the practice.
Okay. You know, that's just one reason, right? You know another reason? The other reason why he is reluctant to accept the woman into the Sangha at first?
No, I don't really.
Anyone else like to share?
Is it because of women being able to?
Sorry, please spell your name.
Oh, Sabrina DeGeorge.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Is it because women could give birth and that was considered an unclean practice back then, or process?
This is not much important. There are important issue too. Yeah. Anyone else like to share this question? Anyone else?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, please. Your name?
I'm Paula.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I was wondering, I think Jackie mentioned it, that his mother died while giving birth. I read in the text that it said it was because he was so pure or full of purity. I just want a little more insight on that.
So what's the question?
Why his mother died because he was so pure?
Oh, last question we don't know. We don't know why she died. Yeah, actually that depends upon. I mean, that according to the historical record, yeah, she passed away within 7 days after she gave birth to the prince. And of course, because of the purity birth to the prince. That's one reason why she passed away. Right? Okay, so go back to the question. Why did the Buddha reluctant to accept the woman into the Sangha at first? Sorry, why was he reluctant to accept them into the Sangha? Why? Any one of you like to share? Okay, here, let me explain to you guys. You know, because of the wisdom in the past, even in the West, in the last 100 years, right? The women were considered second class, right? Because in the past we follow the agriculture traditions. That men went out to work and ladies stay back to do the house chore as well as take care of the children. So that because of the traditions, it's not easy for the Buddha to accept the woman into the religious order. One of the reasons that the taboo, but it's 2,500 years. The Buddha didn't want to to make any kind of regulations. He just try to follow the contemporary traditions. That's why he's so reluctant. But of course, in Buddhist view, regardless of the gender, whether we are male or female, we still have the ability to attain enlightenment. Physically, we're different, but mentally, we're the same. And actually, for the Buddhists, if we believe in reincarnation, some of us in Buddhist view were born as male or female in the past. So male or female is doesn't matter in Buddhism. The gender is not important. The important is everyone has ability to attain enlightenment, to work on the spiritual path, but physically is different. And that's why people are so reluctant to accept the woman to the Sangha at first, because of the taboo or the custom during those times. Okay? All right, so let's move on. The next question. Okay, this price, how the Buddha accepted his last meal and delivered his last teaching. Number 8. So let's do this number 8.
I can answer somewhat of it.
Yeah, please. Your name?
My name is Grace.
Yeah, please.
So I believe Buddha's last meal was eating pork, correct?
That's okay, go ahead.
And also that for his last teaching, like he didn't want to he told his followers not to follow he told his disciples not to follow someone but follow the light, correct? Or
Not really. We could not see your face clearly because somehow if you change your computer or the direction, we could see your face somehow.
I'm sorry.
You can change your computer.
Yeah,
that's good. That's great. Thank you. All right. Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to ask this question? Like to add your points or your sharing for this question?
I'd like to add.
Yeah,
My
your
name
name,
is
please.
Michelle.
Your name, please.
Michelle.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So, Buddha's last meal, I heard that it was vegetarian instead of pork, but I think that depends on the branch of Buddhism you follow. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I was raised into a Buddhist household, and so what I was taught was that the last meal was vegetarian instead of pork.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else to share?
Yeah, I'd like to add.
Your name, please.
Paola.
Yes, go ahead, Paula.
Wasn't his last meal poisoned also?
Yeah, go ahead. Try to explain. We'll summarize later on. Don't worry.
I read that since it was like a sacrifice, I think. I'm not sure. And poisoned his meal, and then he started to feel ill, and he realized he was gonna die, so he died peacefully.
Okay.
Yeah, I have something to add.
Go ahead.
This is Jimmy.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I don't think that he found out, according to the reading, I don't think that he found out that the meal was poisonous after he ate it. I think it was said that he used his psychic powers beforehand, so he knew that the meal was poisonous, but maybe it just looked so delicious that he ate it. Or, oh no, actually, I think it was because out of respect for the person who cooked the meal, he decided to eat it anyways.
Okay.
I have something to add as well.
Yeah, please.
It's Isaac Leathers again.
Yeah.
This is the Buddha's death and last meal. There seemed to be, it's another one of those situations where there's like a million different stories about it. I've read some that the meal was poisoned, others that the meal was offered to him by a blacksmith, and he died shortly afterwards because he fell ill. But everyone thought it was the blacksmith, but Buddha told the blacksmith that it's not his fault. So I don't know. This seems to be one of those things where there's a bunch of different stories, or they're interpreted differently.
Okay, good. Anyone else like to share?
Can I add on to that?
Your name, please.
Michelle Fan.
Yeah, please.
For his last meal, like it was like pork, like right mushrooms, but I thought like he knew in advance that the porridge was poisoned. It was just like in order to prevent other people from eating it and like dying from food poisoning, he took the porridge himself, ate himself, so that he would die instead of others.
Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else that to share? Okay. Let me summarize. So basically, regardless of the tradition, some traditions say that the Buddha ate pork. Other tradition they say that the Buddha ate the poison mushroom. So after he consumed that food, and he told the donors not to give that kind of food to anyone else because he know that the poison. And even in both tradition, in Theravada and Mahayana tradition, especially Mahayana tradition, that the Buddha prayed that Channa, the blacksmith, the one who offered him the last meal. Can you imagine someone give you poison, or someone poison you and other family members or your friends? What happened then? Right? You may sue them, or you may have resentment to them. You want to revenge on your relative behavior and so forth. But for the Buddha, say no. The Buddha even praised that blacksmith, the one who gave him, you can say, poison food. And he said that the last person offered him the food has the same merit as the first person that offered him the food, like the ladies that offered him the food before he attained enlightenment. So for him, he didn't have any guts and the hatred toward the one who killed him. So that is one of this red conduct. You know, so if someone tries to poison you, try to make you sick, right? You may blame on them. You may have the kind of hatred, you want to take the brain and so forth. For the Buddha, no. Even he praised that person. Right? So for the Buddha, friends and enemies are the same. He didn't have any type of gut or hatred toward anyone else. Okay. All right. So let's move on. The next number. All right, number 8. Okay, how the Buddha passed away and how his spirit was divided. I would like to do this.
I would like to answer that one.
Oh, okay.
My name is Jin, and the Buddha passed away due to was spoiled meat or maybe mushrooms, whether it was poisonous or not. So he died from that cause. And when his body was cremated, that was a tradition in India, I think. I read it. And when it was, the relics was divided within groups of the disciples, I guess, and they were put into relic caskets, which got to be known as stupas. And yeah, they still attract like pilgrims from all over the world who follow Buddhism as their religion.
Okay, great. Anyone else like to share?
Yes, I'd like to add something.
Yeah, please.
My name is Shilpa.
Yeah, please.
I read that his relics were divided into 8 parts, and they were given to 8 different disciples or families. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
And from the previous reading from last week, it said that he died from food poisoning, and someone already said that already, but I just thought I'd like to share.
Okay. All right. Anyone else like to share?
Me.
Your name, please.
Ki Chung.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So, since after his final words, I think that he told his disciples that they're on their own, and to not rely on him after his death and all that. And it said that he wanted to be cremated, and he wanted his remains to be divided into portions and distributed among local rulers who can enshrine them throughout India.
Okay. Anyone else? especially the one who have not spoken yet. Remember, if you keep silent, you have only 10 points. Okay, you miss 5 points. Okay, try to
I
share.
have a question.
Yes, please. Your name?
Saman is my name. And I have a question about the stupas. Or are they like small, like box, like or like that things that held the relics, or are they like large buildings?
Depend. Let me show you. Let me show you here. Here, that's the Buddha relic here. You see that? Can you guys see? All right, here they call this this the Buddha relic. This old type of relic. His hair, his bone, his marrow, his blood, and so. Yeah, and is it like small stupa here?
No.
Okay, here let me type the Buddha relic stupa.
Just here where they put rooms within rooms.
Here, what they call stupa. That's where they keep right here. You see that? This is the Rauda style. That's where they keep the Buddha relic here. Okay, and if you visit Burma, Sri Lanka, or Thailand, you will see this type of stupa. Okay, and if you visit China, Vietnam, and so forth, there's a little bit different type of stupa. This original stupa here, this original stupa in India here. Okay, and if you go to visit the temple, you see this small stupa too. That's where they keep the Buddha relic. Okay. Anyone else like to share for this question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it true that Jackie?
Yes, please.
Is it true that the people who loved and admired him kind of argued and fought over the relics or tried to like claim it for themselves?
Yeah. So I will summarize after this, after your explanation, after your sharing. All right. Anyone else want to share this question? To share your stories or anything for this question? Okay. Anyway, let me summarize again. So, right after the Buddha passed away, yes, they cremated him. They cremated his body, and there were 8 kings that tried to fight for the Buddha relics. But there was one Brahmin priest who stepped out and said that while the Buddha was alive, he always advocates compassion and non-violence. Now, after he passed away, you guys try to fight for his relic. That means to go against his will. It's go against his principle. So how could you claim yourself as his disciple? So after that, they listened to him. So he defined 8 portions for these 8 kings, and of course they accept them peacefully. And later on, the king Ashoka, when he unified India, he collected all of these Buddha relics and divide into small things, and he put each relic into a small box. And he say that about 84,000 of them. But in Buddhism, 84,000 has been limitless of them. So after that, after he put the Buddha relic in the boxes, he's gave to Buddhist delegation that went to the Far East and the West to propagate Buddhism together with the Buddha relic. And actually, in Buddhist view, in Buddhist tradition, the relic is very important. And sometimes you see that the Tibetan monks or Chinese monks, they carry the Buddha relic or the holy monk relic around to display so that it can enhance this faith. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next question. Please, if you have not spoken, please do so that you can get 5 points. Okay. The next question. I'm sorry. Go back here. Describe how and why and how the first and second Buddhist council was convened. Who would like to do this?
I'll do it.
Yeah, please, your name.
I'm Jasmine Sanchez.
Yeah, please.
I know it was hard for them to like come to the conclusion of where they were gonna hold the meetings at. Like it took them a while to figure that out. And I know the first meeting was held at the Rajagra, or how do you pronounce? I know it starts with an R.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that like 500 arhats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they came to the meeting for the first meeting.
Okay. Anyone else like to share? Anyone else for the first meeting, the first Buddhist council? Okay. Anyway, so for the 8 kings, they fought for the Buddha relic. But for the monks and nuns, after the Buddha passed away, they convened. That's considered the first Buddhist council, and that was led by one of the Buddha disciples. And they were 500 arhat, that means holy monks, who came together to recite orally the Buddha teachings. Remember, for the first Buddhist council, they didn't write down anything. They just decide the Buddha teaching orally. Up 3 months after the Buddha passed away, that's so important for them to remember the Buddha teaching instead of the Buddha relic. All right. So the next question, for this, how about second Buddhist council? Who would like to do for the second Buddhist council?
I'll do it.
Yeah, please, your name.
Tam'an. For the second one,
Yes.
it was met at Vaishali.
Okay.
Is that right? And they divided into 2 different groups.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I had a question for the first meeting.
Yeah.
Were they enlightened before the meeting, or was it like during the meeting?
Yeah, they should be enlightened before the meeting. They are arhat, that means they're holy monks. Yeah, so that they can have the pure mind to remember the Buddha teachings. That's why they just said that only 500 monks, 1,000 of them. Right? Yeah, and they convened in a cave. So another was the one who decided all the Buddha teachings. Upali, who decided the Buddha teaching moral precepts for the communities to follow. And actually, before the Buddha passed away, he didn't appoint anyone to lead the Sangha, to lead the Buddhist communities. You know why? You know, in Catholicism, we have the Pope, right? In Buddhism, we don't have the Pope. Why is that? Why the Buddha didn't appoint anyone to take over his spot right before he passed away? Who knows why? Anyone of you know why? In Catholicism, they have Pope, right? But in Buddhism, we don't have Buddhist Pope. That were appointed by the Buddhas or the line of the lineage. Why is that?
Isn't that
Your name, please?
hi, Nathan?
Yes.
Nathan 10. Isn't it because no one is as enlightened as the Buddha?
No.
No.
Oh, with many that's mean many holy or enlightened people during the Buddha times, but he didn't appoint them to take over his spot.
I think it's
Your name,
because
please? Your name,
Jackie.
please? Yes.
Jackie. I think it's because he wanted to promote his message that you can find nirvana within yourself and you can attain that enlightenment within yourself. You don't have to necessarily follow some type of religious leader. If you follow the general like Buddhist ways and values, and you practice and you meditate, you can eventually find that enlightenment within yourself.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Anyone, another main reason. Anyone that can explain why? Why he didn't appoint anyone to take over his spot before he passed away? Why is that? This question is so important. If you understand that, it's so important. It's so unique in Buddhism. Why is that? Anyone else?
Is it because you have to be born with like born into it?
No, not really. Why? Anyone else? Here's the hint. You know, if someone who doesn't have any power, any position, they would not show up their ego, right? But if what happens if someone has a power, if someone have some position, what happened then? Let me give you one example. You know, sometimes let's say you go to the doctor office, right, and you meet the doctor and say, oh, Doctor A, Doctor B, and C. So what happened when you meet that doctor on the street and you just call the names, Mr. A, Mr. B, and Mr. C? What happened then? They may be mad, right? Because they get used of being called as doctor with that label, right? With that name, brand name. You understand that? So my point is that the one reason why the Buddha didn't appoint anyone to take over his spot before he passed away, because he just want his disciple to work on the spiritual path, not to fight for the position, not to fight for the power. If someone has some kind of power or position, it's easy for them to get lost. It's easy for them to attach to that kind of power or position, like in politics. Right, so that's why the Buddha didn't appoint anyone. He just reminded them to follow his teaching, take his teaching on in his morality as the teacher, not anyone else, because he didn't want people to attach to the power or position, so that they would devote their lives to a spiritual path. Is that clear? Okay. All right. Let's move on. Who would like to do next question? I'm sorry, go back to the second Buddhist council. Actually, again, 100 years after the Buddha passed away, there's some problem occur in the Sangha, like the way how they live together, the way how they bake the food, the way how they keep the money. Actually, as monk and during those times, we're not supposed to keep money, especially gold. So there's some dispute among the Sangha, the monastic communities. So that's why they came together for the second council, okay, to dispute, to talk about that kind of problems, to keep the goal, to eat 1 meal a day, and other issue too, but not much important. About number 11, why and how the third and fourth Buddhist council were convened. Who would like to do this? Anyone of you? The third council in Buddhist tradition is so important. Anyone of you?
Oh, I think I have something about it. Lance Win.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I read somewhere that the third council was held to get rid of corruption in the Buddhism.
Okay, what else? Who sponsored this third council, you know?
No, Emperor Ashoka.
Yeah, yeah, Ashoka. I mean that the next week, after that we study about him too. Ashoka. Yeah. Anyone of you know about him? Anyone of you? No? Actually, let's put it this way.
Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. It's my name is Amanda Lee.
Yeah, please.
King Ashoka was the king that united all of India, wasn't he?
Okay, sorry, it's noisy. Can you repeat one more time, please?
Oh, I'm so sorry. King Ashoka was the king that united all of India. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I believe he was a devout Buddhist.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, that was as much as I learned from 6th grade.
Okay. Anyone else want to share? about the third Buddhist council or Ashoka? Anyone else? And I think by next week, after that, you can learn more about him. All right. Anyway, so the King Ashoka at first, you can say that he evil king. He killed most of his brothers so that he could be an emperor. As emperor. And after the war with Kalinga, that killed more than 100,000 people. So he fell to the red, and somehow, according to legend, he met a young monk, and that young monk converted him to Buddhism. From that time on, he became a devout Buddhist. And so he's the one to build what they call the stupa, or the pillar that indicate where the Buddha was born, where Buddha attained enlightenment, and so forth. That's why for the Buddhist people, whenever they visit India, they would know the location that where the Buddha was born, where Buddha first attained enlightenment, or first gave the teaching, and so forth, due to the effort of King Ashoka. And he is the one who is sponsor the third Buddhist council. He wants to purge out all the bad monks, give the proper ones to propagate Buddhism. And that's why they convened the third Buddhist council. All right. For the fourth council, that's in Kashmir, according to the Maha traditions, that was convened by one of the Kushan emperor. But for the Theravada tradition, say that the Sri Lanka king that convened that for Buddhist council to record the Buddha teachings in Pali. So last question, last chance for you to get 5 points. Okay, if you keep silent, sorry, you will get that 5 points. Describe why and how Buddhism was disappeared in India.
I have something to say. My name is Arian Parajuli.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that like it declined because like Hinduism started growing and more people like started getting into it. And I also read like Buddhism like split into groups, so like they became thinner and thinner as time passed by. And finally, I read like Muslims started like getting rid of them for some reason, and everywhere they go, they did that.
Good. Anyone else want to share? This is the last. Yeah, your name?
Nathan Tan.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I wanted just to add that besides the anti-Buddhist polemics because of Hinduism coming back, and the Muslims invaded and destroyed monasteries by 1200 CE, I think. And then the Muslim merchants also sort of just took over the trade routes that used to be done by Buddhists. And because they took over the trade routes, they were able to spread Islam way more and replace Buddhism where Buddhism used to spread.
Anyone else?
Me.
Your name?
My name is Jennifer Huang.
Please.
Wasn't it also because in India there's like other religions that they were practicing, so Hinduism was becoming more popular, more than Buddhism, and filling in the spots that Buddhism didn't offer for the Hindus.
Anyone else? Please don't go yet. Okay, we need to play to make attendance. Okay. All right. So if you miss that, somehow it's still hard for me to review this record discussion. Okay. So please stay back for a while before we have the Kahoot, so that we can make attendance. Okay. Anyone else for the last question?
Wasn't it also because monks realized that everyone wasn't fit to become a monk or a nun?
Okay.
So they only focus on the life of a monk?
Okay. Good. Okay. Anyone else?
Was it also because India was being invaded by like groups like the Hun? So
Sorry,
they
can you speak one more time, please? Speak loudly,
so
please.
India was being invaded by groups like the Huns, and they were tearing down Buddhist monasteries.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else? Okay, anyone else? All right, let me summarize the two main factors. Yeah, the first one is related to internal factor. That's the latest developments of Mahayana tradition that lead to the Tantric tradition. There's many corrupted monks and nuns, and they didn't have much support from the local people, from kings or officers. That's internal problems. External problem is that the Muslim during the 12th or 13th century, they invade North India, and wherever they went, they would kill or convert people into Muslim. And there's one story that when the Muslim army went to India, and they saw many big Buddhist monasteries, and of course, because the monk, they wear uniforms, they wear the sash, the same sash, they wear the same uniforms. So these Muslim armies thought that they were Buddhist armies. That's why they killed them all. And they say that they killed thousands of them. And they burned all many big Buddhist monasteries. And one of the most famous Buddhist university, Nalanda, was burned and destroyed by the Muslim armies. And they burned up the school libraries for 6 months, and that's a great loss in Buddhism, because later on we lost what they call the sacred canyon that could not be found anymore. But now we still have the Pali canyon, Chinese, the Ben canyon that were translated from the Sanskrit. But during the invasion of the Muslim, they kill monks, nuns, and they destroy Buddhist textbook. They burn down the Buddhist temple and so forth. That's loss. External factor. Okay. Anyone else? That's all for the question. Anyone else want to say anything? Want to ask any questions before we move on to the attendance? Anyone else? Okay. So let's please take out your cell phone, okay, so that you can play the Kahoot like the one that we play in class. Okay, so this is attendance. Okay, this is the way I keep attendance. Of course, I will check with the recording discussion here, but it's easy for me to keep track with you guys. All right, so please turn on your cell phone. All right, and please type the whole name. Okay, type your full name. Okay, type your full name. Please don't type your nickname. So this is the way to keep your attendance. Okay.
Professor, I'm unfamiliar with what you're doing. How do I do this?
That's okay. If you have problems, that's fine. But it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Try your best. Yeah, just type your full name, please. And like the one that you did in class, you just type any letters that keep your attendance. Okay. And if you have problem with the cell phone and you're not familiar with that, that's fine. Yeah. Asmat, I have your name here and you speak up. I can recognize your name. Anyone else? Anyone else missing? Okay, are you guys ready?
No, hold on. No, hold on.
Yeah, sure. We have 37 and 36 students here.
Oh, I'm coming. I'm there. Thank you.
Okay. Any more? And if you have problem to use this Kahoot, please make sure to type on the chat side so that I can know your name. Okay, I can know that you are here. Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
I don't know how to do this.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I'm sorry. I'm new here. I just registered yesterday.
Or type your name on the chat side. Okay. Type your name on chat side so that I can know.
Oh, chat site.
What's up?
I put my name in the chat?
Yeah, type your name there.
Okay, okay.
If you have problem to use the Kahoot here. Are you ready? You guys ready? All right, let me start, okay? If you have problems, just type your name on the chat side, okay? I keep that. Okay, pick any letters to check mark your attendance. All right.
All right, I just sent my name in the chat.
Okay. You pick any letter. That's okay. That's just attendance. All right. Okay, that's great. Okay. Well, anyway, so we have 31 students to log in the Kahoot here. If you have problem with your cell phone or whichever, please remember to type your name on the chat side. Especially the one who have spoken. Okay, so that I can keep attendance. Okay. All right. So okay. Let's see here. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else has any question for me? All right. So that's great. So this is the first online meeting, right? So we have the second online meeting. I forgot. Sorry. You guys know it's in next month, right? September. I forgot the date. Anyway, I'm looking forward to see you guys online meeting. Okay. The second one. In the meantime, please work on, especially your group presentation. Please try to come up with the topic with your partner and let me know soon, okay? And the due date, I think September the 20th for group presentation. Again, I don't force you guys to do that group presentation. If you have problem with your partner, you can do analysis paper. Analysis paper only has one topic, contribution of Buddhism to the world, okay? So please do your work, and if you have any question, just let me know. Email to me, text me, or even if you have problem to talk to me online, you can make the time. All right. All right. So again, if you could not use Kahoot, please remember to type on the chat side here. This is your attendance. All right. If I don't see your name, sorry. I would not give you 6 points. Okay, so please. And if you want to stay back to ask me more questions about your work, you please do that. Okay? All right. Thanks for coming and see you next time. And try to work on your assignment. If you want to stay back, please do so. If you not log on the Kahoot, please type your name on the chat side. All right, so see you then. All right, work on your assignment. All right, so if you want to stay back to talk with me anything, please do so, okay? All right, see you then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, see you then. Okay. Okay.
Hey, Professor, I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
So for the reading response questions,
yes,
the answers aren't all from the main textbook, right? Because I can't find them.
Textbook, and you can read from articles, from books, and so forth. That's okay, anywhere. But you should cite, or you should read from the authentic textbook, not from Wikipedia. That's okay. You can search online. I mean that in Google Book, Google or Scholar, Google, to find out the information from books and articles. Okay, and make sure to cite those sources. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Vincent, you want to ask? Vincent?
I'm on the quiet floor. Can't talk.
What's that?
I typed it in the chat.
What's that? Can you speak up one more time, please?
He said that he typed his question in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. How about Jackie? You want to ask me anything?
Yes. I was wondering, when should we let you know about our group projects? Like, is there a due date for that?
No, I don't set the deadline, the due date, but let me know sooner so that I can know what I'm working on. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Come on, guys.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Jimmy, you want to ask me one question more or no? All right. So you want to ask me any question? No. Okay.
I'm done.
Good. Thank you. So see you then. Thank you. Good luck on your assignment and your work. Okay. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.